So I'm going to go through a few problems that are about the distributive property. The distributive property is A times parentheses B plus C, which means you are going to multiply the A times the B and then the A times the C. So we're really handing out whatever coefficient we have to the parentheses. So I have AB plus AC. I thought it was important that we just do a bunch of this and see what that looks like. So the first one I have is 3 times parentheses x minus 3. So I want to multiply 3 times x. So I have 3x. And then I multiply 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9. Now, it's a really big deal to pay attention to signs as you're doing distribution because the negatives can be really sneaky and you want to make sure you pay attention to them. So here's our first example. I have negative 2 times parentheses x plus 6. So that negative 2 multiplies by x, that's negative 2x. And then negative 2 times positive 6 is negative 12. You have choices on how you're going to write that. The first time through, I wrote negative 2x plus negative 12 because I did negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. If you wanted to, you could also express this as negative 2x minus 12. These are equivalent expressions, so it really doesn't matter which one you use. They are saying the same thing. So let's try this one. I have negative 4 times parentheses x minus 7. Same kind of deal. I want to do negative 4 times x. That's negative 4x. This time, when I do negative 4 times negative 7, negative is positive, so I have plus 28. Let's try again. I have a negative outside, and this time it just looks like negative, right? There's no number there. If it helps you, if you want to make that a negative 1 times negative 8y minus 2z, you would get the same thing. So you could always change that negative sign into a negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 8 is positive 8, and there's a y. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2, so I have 2z. Much bigger, I have negative 3 times parentheses 5x plus 2 minus parentheses 9x plus 7 minus 4x plus 1. So our order of operation says, where do we start? We start with parentheses. So I'm going to distribute this negative 3 to the 5x and to the 2. So negative 3 times 5, negative 15x. Negative 3 times 2, I'm going to write that as negative 6. Again, I have this negative in front of the 9x plus 7, where I said, if you want to, turn that into a negative 1. So negative 1 times 9 is negative 9x. Negative 1 times 7 is plus negative 7. Then I have minus 4x plus 1. So the negative 4x plus 1 is not in parentheses, so I'm not distributing there. Now I want to gather like terms. So that says I have a negative 15x, I have a negative 9x, and I have a negative 4x. So all of these I put together. You are really just adding the coefficients. So negative 15 plus negative 9, that's negative 24. I add negative 4 to that, that gives me negative 28x. Then I put together the number part. So negative 6, negative 7, and a positive 1. Negative 6 and negative 7 is negative 13, and then I add 1 and I'm at negative 12. So I can write plus negative 12, or I can do negative 28x minus 12. Let me show you when we're not going to distribute. Here I have 5 plus 9 minus parentheses 4 minus 3. There are no variables here, so there's really no need to distribute. What I would do instead is say 5 plus 9 is 14 minus parentheses. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I just went ahead and did the operation inside of the parentheses. 14 minus 1 is 13. So it would be longer to do the distribution. You could do it, it's just not necessary. If the distribution happens to have a fraction, it's still okay. You multiply a fourth times 4x, a fourth times negative 12. So let's write that the long way, a fourth times 4x. I'm going to write minus a fourth times 12. This 4 cancels this 4, and I just have x. 4 goes into 12 3 times, I have minus 3. What if it doesn't work out so pretty? So this time I have 3/8 times 2x minus 20. So I'm going to say I'm going to distribute the 3/8. So I have 3/8 times 2x minus 3/8 times 20. You have choices, but what I see here is that the 8 and the 2 have a 2 in common. So I could say 2 goes into 8 4 times. So I have 3/4 of x. And then in the next part, I have 8 and 20. Well, they both have 4 in common. When I divide 8 by 4, I get 2. When I divide 20 by 4, I get 5. I'm left with 3/2 of 5. So I'm going to keep the 3/4 of x. And then when I'm multiplying 3/2 times 5, I'm going to put 5 over 1. So 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2. And then this will be my final answer.